Hey, it's Molly. Welcome back as we take a look at the Capricorn New Moon happening on December 23rd, 2022 at 5:16 a.m. That's Eastern Time. So be sure and adjust for your location on the planet. This new moon is our last one of the calendar year. It occurs just days after the Capricorn solstice. And so we find the sun and the moon together at 1 degree of Capricorn, 32 minutes. So you would look in your natal chart at which house you would have these degree points of Capricorn. And this is where you are initiating and beginning a new cycle in the Capricorn energies and themes. And so Capricorn brings us into order. What needs to be taken care of? Where do we need to step into our authority and look at and assess what we're ready to shift or change in our lives? Capricorn is a cardinal sign, which is about initiation and beginnings, and it is an earth sign, so it is directly related to what is happening in our physical world and how we're here to continually manage and master the energies in our physical reality. Capricorn is also about the bigger structures in our lives, what we are building, what has meaning to us, where we have commitments, where we need to show up and take care of business. So there is a seriousness here with the Capricorn new moon. It's beginning in the very early degrees of Capricorn. And so there's something that we are starting here again, at the beginning of Capricorn season, that can carry through the most of Capricorn season, in fact. And that's the case with a number of these new moons we've been having in the early degrees of astrology signs. So there's something here that is actually very well supported, that you're being directed to basically move into your power, your integrity, your self-respect. Look at what you need to handle. What is in front of you right now? Where are you even being guided to take care of some things? Maybe you're even feeling like there's things you want to get done before the end of the calendar year, where we have just about a week after this new moon before 2022 ends, 2023 begins. So there could be a sense here too of, I just would like to cross some things off my list before this year closes out. And we also have Venus, Mercury, and Pluto in Capricorn. So 5 energies in Capricorn during this new moon, bringing your attention to the Capricorn house or houses in your chart. You can see how in this example chart, it's in 2 houses. So the new moon is in the first house. Then this lineup of 3 planets is in the second house. So this would mean 2 areas of life are requiring the Capricorn focus and attention. Capricorn helps us understand what we want for the long term, what goals matter to us, what we want to achieve, what we're working for. What are you working for? What are the payoffs? What are the rewards? What are you accomplishing? And in Capricorn, we often think of our career, our profession, what we're doing in the real world. But because this energy can fall in any house or houses in your chart, it brings your attention to what am I accomplishing in my second house? What am I taking care of and managing in my first house? So these are questions to ask yourself, especially when we have strong focus on one particular astrology sign. The cosmos is bringing our attention to matters of this sign and the strengths of the sign. Now, as always, there's a full spectrum of energy for every astrological sign. So with Capricorn, we do have to pay attention to where our energy wants to go forward, but also assess the lower octaves or lower expressions of Capricorn. And that can be the case with any astrology sign when you have multiple planets in that sign. So 5 planets in Capricorn. It means that you could also feel very world weary. You could feel disconnected from your emotions. You could feel like you're hermiting. And that's not bad. None of that's bad or negative. It's just being aware of how these Capricorn energies can show up. You could feel too like perhaps everything's on my shoulders. Why do I have to take care of everything? And that would be an opportunity to look at whether or not you delegate, whether or not you trust other people to take care of their responsibilities. There is an innate responsibility with Capricorn. And so you could feel like you are very responsible at this time. There's a lot of things in front of you that are requiring your time, energy, and attention. And this can feel heavy at times, especially at the end of the year, around the holidays here, when a lot is going on. But it's also important to note that part of this is getting ourselves in alignment with where we're going next into the new year and looking at perhaps some new goals, some new things that you want to move towards or create. Again, Capricorn is about the physical reality of your life. It's the third and final earth sign in the astrology wheel. It's look at how far I've come since the last time we had Capricorn season. Look at what I have achieved, created, built, and how do I change that up going forward? What are the new endeavors I want to move towards? Capricorn is about long-term planning, and there's always that responsibility here. So there could be things in your world that you're reassessing according to the times that we're living in, including perhaps your budget, your finances, the whole P&L statement and what's happening in a business from a business perspective. There could be things here that you're understanding, okay, that didn't work for me. I don't like that. I don't want that. I'm ready to start something else that is in fuller alignment. The Capricorn energies also want us to look at, where is this going? Where is this headed? And is it going to be worth it? Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. And Saturn is here at 21 degrees of Aquarius, 35 minutes. And this is actually where Saturn has been 2 times earlier this year. So Saturn was at 21 degrees in late March and as well in August. And that's because of the retrograde that Saturn went through. So now Saturn is direct, covering that territory from late March and August, showing you what you are doing on your own. Saturn gives us the strength to be able to handle things that are our responsibility. And sometimes the Saturn is very good at showing us what needs to be eliminated, what is not working, what does not have a purpose, what is not paying off. And in Aquarius, it can reveal the ties you have to other people. Because Aquarius is about collective consciousness, group energies, friends, acquaintances, co-workers, people in a group setting, those even on social media. And this Saturn has been helping us refine the Aquarius energies in our chart to really get clear on, is this true for my future? Aquarius is future oriented. It's about the visions you have, what you're moving towards, what's the plan. So there could be a sense of 2022 has been bringing you into fuller alignment with your individual energy, your unique plan for the future, what you really want going forward, and how to go about that, and what needs to be cut off or cut out, or simply it's sort of like where you're redirecting your energy. It's a redirect where you could be saying, I put a lot of time and energy into something, and I'm realizing it's not really where I want to be investing more time and energy. So Saturn in Aquarius is preparing us for where we're going, and it's providing the ideas and the vision for getting there. And because this Saturn is ahead of the planets in Capricorn and is ruling the planets in Capricorn, this Saturn is tapped into a different level of consciousness about the future and is working on it, wants things to be in proper alignment. Saturn is where you have to really make sure that you're covering everything that's necessary. You're taking responsibility for everything that you're building and moving towards. So there's a slower process with Saturn, but it's because of the productivity that can come about. It's because of what you're investing in that you want to pay off. So I feel like this Saturn is leading and showing the Capricorn planets what you're moving towards. It's like, this is what we're doing. And so the Capricorn energies are like, okay, so how do we get everything in order and in place for this vision or this idea that you want or you're working on? Now, wherever you have this transiting Saturn in Aquarius in your chart, Saturn is about elders, mentors, experts, authority figures. This is where you could have people come up or come through that show you what you need to do. They're offering you guidance. They're telling you, all right, you need to take care of this in your finances, or you need to get this in order in your plan. Let's put together the map. What's the strategy? And so in your life, you could have a Saturn official helping you, bringing things together and showing you, what you need to take care of, especially as we move into the new year. And this could be an important guide of some kind. And it could be showing you that, you don't have to know everything. In fact, Aquarius can be overwhelmed with all the knowledge in the world. I've got to understand how this works. I've got to be aware of this part of things. Well, actually, you just need to know the experts who can handle it. I think about a car or a vehicle. Think about how complex the inner workings of a car is. And it's all these moving parts, right? And you don't know perhaps everything about how the vehicle operates. And that's okay. You get in, you turn on the vehicle, you put it in drive, and you go. And when there's a problem, you take it to a mechanic or an expert. So there are experts here who can help you with what you're establishing or what you need to establish. And that can be one way to approach Capricorn season, where you're aware of what you're good at, what you have taken control of or understand, but perhaps there's another person or another expert who you can delegate or ask to assist you for anything that you want to achieve next. And even though Capricorn isn't usually about asking for help, but when it relates to what you're moving towards or what you need solved or fixed, Capricorn is absolutely on board with let's bring in the experts. So keep that in mind here during Capricorn season. There could be opportunities for you to work with some more people or new people, or again, connect with the guides, the officials, the experts, the mentors who can show you something. And because this energy has been in play throughout most of this year, there could be something that you also now feel it's being handled. It's being taken care of. You've been working through it this year. Saturn, as we know, has been in an ongoing square to Uranus in Taurus throughout last year, 2021, and then again late this year, 2022. But this energy is alleviating and moving away. So this Saturn was really, shook up. This Uranus shakes things up. And Uranus is further away from the Earth than Saturn, so it's actually more powerful. And this Uranus will disrupt the structures that Saturn is building. Uranus will shake the ground and collapse something that Saturn is focused on and building. So it could feel like what you've also been moving through here is this inconsistency. The ground hasn't been as steady or firm as you'd like. There's been surprises, things showing up and popping up out of the blue. There's been a lack of steadiness, but that is now being alleviated as this Uranus is retrograde until January 23rd, I believe. And Saturn is now direct, so they're no longer in that tight square. So this again is support for what you need to move forward. And even if you weren't able to do it in the past 2 years, there could be a sense of now it's time. Or even there's been a clearing out, because that Uranus removes. It takes things away. It shakes it out of the tree, shakes it off the apple cart. And so now here is Saturn saying, okay, we've been through some earthquakes. We've been through some big changes. That is over. So what do I collect and put back on the apple cart? What have I determined is necessary and essential? And I'm going to keep moving forward. And the Saturn is direct throughout the remaining degrees of Aquarius until it enters Pisces on March 7th. So we basically have this season. I'm actually going to relate this back to the Capricorn solstice, which is on December 21st, just 2 days before this new moon. There's a taking care of business energy here. I'm going to get some things done before the Aries equinox, March 20th, March 21st. So in fact, this could be a very realistic way to use this Capricorn new moon, is to make a 3-month plan. What's your 3-month plan that's going to see you through this last quarter of the astrological year, and even help you kick off the first quarter of the calendar year? Now we are going to have Mercury stationing retrograde the end of December 29th at 24 degrees of Capricorn, where it will travel back to 8 degrees. So Mercury is in his shadow, and he's getting closer to Pluto. He's only going to get to 24 degrees, but that's still within 3 degrees of Pluto. That's still within orb. So there are going to be these things you're reconsidering during the Mercury retrograde from December 29th until till January 19th. December 29th, January 19th, reassessing and even looking at, the connection with Pluto is like, no, I'm not doing that anymore. Or it's like, oh, that idea didn't pay off, or that didn't come through. I'm going to tear it down, take it apart. Pluto will demolish it, and then it's meant to be something that reconnects you with a bigger, clearer energy going forward. So don't be surprised if in January there's things that you're reworking, you're reassessing. And we've had a strong focus on Capricorn energies for a number of years now, not simply because we had that Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn at 22 and 23 degrees, but perhaps you'll recall last year we had Venus retrograde in Capricorn that lasted into January of this year. There's been a lot of action and activity here in Capricorn in your chart. And again, it could be 2 houses. And it's like we're really understanding, I feel like it's the power to recreate our lives on our own terms. And we've been moving through a lot of deconditioning and reprogramming of these Capricorn energies. What do I want in my life? Not just what I thought I had to do. Because Capricorn does have obligations. But are those obligations tied to your soul mission and your soul purpose? Because that's what's going to move forward. And I feel like that's also what this Saturn in Aquarius has been connecting us with, showing you your individual frequency, showing you how you're unique and different, how to be strong and solid in that, and then how to create a life that reflects who you truly are, what really matters for you. And so we can be on these paths in our life, and we can think, okay, well, I'm hitting milestones. That's also a Capricorn word, is milestones, and what you do to achieve something. And there could be things that you're understanding, those milestones don't even matter to me anymore. They're not speaking to me. They're not even motivating me. So we're doing some deep reworking here of what life milestones truly matter to us, what we really want to move towards and create. And this is a time when you could truly feel that energy rising up, and you could really have a new sense of what's possible that might even surprise you, but it's showing you what is resonating with your energy now. Now, another thing that's going on in this chart is that you can see how the sun and the moon are squaring this Jupiter at 0 degrees of Aries, 15 minutes. This Jupiter has been here at 0 degrees of Aries 3 times this year, in May, and when it was retrograde in October. So there's a return to this new beginning, a starting point of energies. And Jupiter is pushing the sun and the moon. Jupiter exaggerates, amplifies, but the square here is motivational. It feels like it's encouraging. It brings in the fire to move ahead and to start something. And I talked about this more in the Capricorn solstice video, which you'll find here on YouTube. And I feel like this is support for the new start that could finally feel like it's really taking off, and it's grounded. It's grounded with the Capricorn influence and clarity the Capricorn seeks. So strong initiation energies here are underway. And then we also have this Chiron at 11 degrees of Aries, 56 minutes, stationing direct on this Capricorn new moon. That's what the S means. And so this is a time period where you are turning a new corner here, where you have this Chiron. I'm going to call it 12 degrees of Aries because when we round up, it is at nearly 12 degrees. And Chiron has also been retrograding in this area of your chart since about the middle of 2021. And that just shows us how slowly Chiron moves, but also how since 2021, you have been moving through a healing process in this part of your chart. And as Chiron stations direct and moves forward, and remember, we have the support here of the newness, the new initiation, the new developments and plans that you're moving towards. I feel like this Chiron stationing direct is a turning point in your healing journey of what's been completed. Now, it takes time for Chiron to move forward. So it's still going to be at 11 and 12 degrees in January and into February. So it's not a fast turnover or a quick change. Rather, there's been a slower healing process, which is how Chiron operates. Think about when you have an injury, physical injury. It takes time for the bone to heal, the muscle to heal, the tissue to heal, the skin to heal. It takes as long as it takes, right? And so Chiron is actually deeply connected to the time it takes to deeply heal that can't be rushed. And that's part of what we continue to trust. But in Aries being impatient, ready to go, let's get this thing started, there could be at times the frustration with our own healing process. Like, why am I not over this yet? Or why is this still, in my consciousness, in my energy? Well, Chiron reminds us it takes as long as it takes. So know that this is where we're learning to be more gentle with ourselves, where we're learning to honor that healing that digs deep into soul wounds, things that you've experienced across multiple lifetimes that you're healing now. You're healing at this level of your own consciousness. And so there is a turning point here where you could feel relief. You could feel like something is no longer hurting. It doesn't hurt when you touch it as much. Keep in mind, it could still be sore and tender in January and February, but there's an energy here where, I can feel a shift. I can feel it's not as sensitive as it once was. And Chiron will tear into that sensitivity. It's sort of like you've got to get in there to understand what really needs to heal. So this new moon, I feel like there's a strengthening of the wounds, strengthening in the healing process, and that strength is coming from the Capricorn energies. You'll also see here too that this Chiron stationing direct is making a sextile to Mars, retrograde in Gemini, and Mars is the ruler of this Chiron in Aries because Aries is ruled by Mars. And so Mars is providing an assist where you're rewriting a story here, which is Gemini, a story, what we tell ourselves, what we think about. It's almost like we're rethinking what this Chiron wound has been. We're understanding it in new ways. Perhaps in Gemini, you've been collecting more information, listening to guidance, listening to other versions of a story, wanting to learn more about how this energy has been working with you or affecting you. And so there is an assist here with this Mars retrograde in Gemini, trining the Chiron energy. And I feel like there could be something here that's part of your new understanding. New understanding. Now, Mars is retrograde into January, but is moving so slowly, goes back to 8 degrees, hangs out at 8 degrees and 9 degrees through January and February. So as I'm describing these planetary actions here and the retrogrades and the review process, it seems that a clearer timeline is emerging where this Capricorn new moon is initiating energies that we're going to be working through into January, February, March, where things could feel kind of slow in one regard. It could feel like, okay, I'm still moving through some things, I'm still in it, but it's not as intense. It's not as deep. It's not maybe even as hurtful or as powerful, but there's other things that I'm building and moving towards for my future. And that's what I'm really focused on. So we're turning a page in our healing journey. We're supported in the healing process with new understandings, new information. And again, maybe you've been learning about what this wound is. And you're making some new commitments to yourself going forward that strengthen you, solidify you, give you purpose, and further tune you in to your soul mission in this lifetime, what matters to you, what's essential to you, and what you're building and creating going forward. One more thing about this Capricorn new moon is how this Mercury is in a sextile to Neptune. And that will be part of the influence during the Mercury retrograde, where there's going to be some new downloads coming in, insights, spiritual messages to assist this Mercury in understanding what needs to go, what's done, what's complete. And here's this Neptune helping to remove it, take it away, take it off your plate, no longer, show you basically shows you what you no longer really want, but also could give you some new inspirations for a new truth that you want to connect with and build. So I know this new moon video is actually longer than other new moon videos I do, but I feel like this is significant because there's something about the Capricorn new moon where the energy continues to play out until the Aries equinox, until Aries season. So again, a 3-month planning process could support you, help you understand, what you want to accomplish, move towards, get done, and also show you again what you've completed on your healing journey that you're not going to have to repeat or experience again in another lifetime. So as always, thank you so much for joining me. Be sure and sign up for my 2023 Soul Growth Astrology program that gives you the full major astrology of 2023. It's the biggest astrology since 2020. Big doings in the new year. So please check that out. The coupon code is still valid, and I hope it supports you in understanding the new energies that you're moving into in the new year. Thank you so much for joining me here. Thank you for your comments, your likes, your subscribes, and thank you for sharing this with other people who could also benefit from this information as well. I will see you back here very soon and wishing you a beautiful Capricorn new moon.